Hi everyone, it's Kelly from the Hub. I am here today with Steph. She is our registered dietitian who works at WellSpan Ephrata Community Hospital. Hello there, dear. How are you?
I'm good. How are
Good,
you?
good. Thank you. So Steph is one of two people who helps us at the library and at the Hub talk about all the stuff that's coming in from the garden or the community garden and what we can transform some of those vegetables into. So if you checked out the garden video last week, the kale is coming in. Now here's the thing. I've done one recipe with kale in my whole life, and it's quite delicious, so we can certainly talk about that. But I'm not a super kale expert. So Steph, what am I doing with kale? Because it's fashionable, but it feels really tough to me.
So it's a great vegetable to eat because it's part of the cruciferous family, if you've heard that before, but that's your
Well,
broccoli.
that's like broccoli.
Yep, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, turnips, they're all in that same family. So kale is super high in vitamin A and vitamin C. It's also a good source of potassium. So it's going to give you a lot of the vitamins and minerals that you need, and also fiber. So it's a great vegetable to add to your meal plans. There's a lot of ways to do it. So you were talking about it being kind of tough, I think, is what you
Yeah,
asked.
I've only ever had it cooked. Like, do people eat it raw?
Yeah, there's recipes for salads. So you can actually have it raw. Um, there's smoothie recipes where you can add it to your smoothies. The big key is that you take out that tough stem. That's kind of what makes it bitter and gives it that bitter taste that people don't necessarily like with the kale, and also makes it tougher.
So just like spinach, it's got that sort of stem that goes through the middle that you gotta. I mean, even though there's leaves on the leaves on the side, you gotta go up pretty far and pull that big guy out.
Yes, so there's a couple ways you can do that. You can actually fold the leaf in half and then use a sharp knife or kitchen shears and just cut that stem off.
Okay.
You got rid of that tough stem. You could also, when you fold it in half, kind of perforate it and then just rip it off. So you hold the stem on one end and you just rip the leaves off on the other end. It kind of depends what you want to do with it. If you want the big leaf, I would recommend cutting it versus ripping it. If you don't care and you're chopping it up anyway, you can just rip it off and it's really fast.
So the recipe I use with kale is a kale and sausage soup that I make in the winter, and boy howdy, that is delightful. For me, I like the kale in there because if you use something like spinach, it would just disappear. You need something thick and hearty to stand up to the sausage and the other vegetables that you have in there. So that in that case, I really like using kale because it can stand up to all that stuff.
Mhm.
You were talking about a smoothie. What what could I put in that smoothie so it doesn't taste like, I don't know,
So
eating a tree?
or look green like a tree. You can add some berries. They would be good. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Bananas are always good to kind of, if you don't really like the strong taste of kale, you can use a banana to kind of hide that flavor until you get used to it. So grapes, you could put grapes in a smoothie. You know, any of those berry type things, it kind of masks that green color you're going to get from it too. When I was looking up recipes, I even found one on a Mexican chocolate smoothie, which I like chocolate, so it looked really good. But it had cocoa powder, so it was has like cayenne pepper and cocoa powder in it with the kale. So that would
Oh,
kind
so it's spicy, a little sweet,
of, yeah,
and it's got the cool kale.
correct. So you
Ooh, I think that could change your morning quite nicely.
yes. Anytime you can add chocolate in a healthy way, there's something to be said for that. So
That's true. Absolutely. All right. So I can do a smoothie. I can do raw in a salad. It would feel like I would need something, I don't know, like apple in that salad to
I
sort of
found a
counteract it.
found a good recipe that we can maybe link, but it had craisins in there, cranberries, and had some nuts, and it looked really good. It was a lemon dressing that you could add to that. So that would kind of give you the sweet sour flavor with the lemon and the cranberries to go along with the kale. And you could always, again, until you get used to the flavor, it's a very strong flavor. You could mix it with your regular lettuce or spinach or something that has a little less tang to it to get, you know, more of those dark leafy greens in.
Excellent. Is kale one of those greens that I would cook if I had like a side of greens? Like my southern friends make greens. Is kale one of those greens?
Yeah, you can also saute the kale. So you can just use a little bit of oil and some spices and even do it with some other vegetables and saute it. You could stir fry it. So that's another option. Basically, anything you could do with spinach, you could substitute the kale in there. So the sauteing, the stir frying. My son loves kale chips. So
Wait, kale chips?
yeah, they're
You're singing my song.
so you can take a cookie sheet and put some parchment paper on it, and you break the kale up into little bite-sized pieces, and you roast that. You sprinkle a little oil on top and some seasonings, and then you roast that in the oven. So you roast it for like 10 to 15 minutes at 350 to 400 until they get a little brown on the edges, and you have kale chips.
Okay. Does it taste like eating a tree?
No, those actually taste really good, or my son would not be eating them. So he's kind of a picky eater, and that's one thing that I was shocked that he was willing to try was the kale chips.
And that's like a almost no ingredients kind of a thing. You know, a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, or however you like to season it up. So a good way to get all those vitamins and the fiber in one of the easiest ways you can.
Yes, yep, those are super easy. And again, my son is a teenager, doesn't really like a lot of vegetables, and he loves those. Like he'll eat a whole bowl of them. So that's an easy way to do it if you want to get your kids to try more vegetables, or even you, if you don't like vegetables, that's a good way to try some kale.
So we could make them into chips in the oven. We could do a salad and add some other things to help balance that out a little bit. Soup, there's lots of ways you can do it, to have greens in soup. You could saute it and have it as its own side dish and as a smoothie.
Yeah,
You
there's
just
lots
gave
of,
us 5 ways to enjoy this vegetable that some people are just like,
yep. Yeah, and there's different types of kale too, so it kind of depends on the type, but you know, any of those would work in most of the recipes. So if you have a garden where you're getting kale, that's a great way to add, again, your antioxidants, your vitamin A, your vitamin C, your potassium, fiber, without a lot of calories, as long as we don't put a lot of stuff on top of it.
cool. So anybody who's getting some food from Ephrata Area Social Services and they find some kale in their box, now they know 5 different things that they can do with it that are all pretty easy.
Yes, not hard.
Not too shabby at all. All right, we're going to link some recipes to this video as well, and looks like I'm going to have to get me some kale.
Yep.
Looking forward to it. Sounds awesome. Next week we'll talk about something else very fun and exciting with our friend Steph here, our resident dietitian. Until then, Steph, have a lovely week, dear.
Thank you. You too.
See ya.
Bye.